Hey guys, Daisy here. So today I have a little treat for you. I have another versus video. Yay! So I am versing the Nova Mod version 1. I have to clarify, version 1. I will hopefully be getting a chance to review the version 2 soon, and I will let you guys know when that happens. But for now, I am versing the Nova Mod version 1 against the CE2. 2. This one. The Nova Mod holds, well, they both have measuring units on either side, and the Nova Mod holds, the measuring stops about 3/4 of the way up, and it says it holds at that point 2.8 milliliters. It's got a metal mouthpiece. This is metal, okay. And it gives it a different taste. It gives the liquid a different taste through the metal mouthpiece than through the traditional plastic pieces. The top screws off, and so does the bottom piece. They both screw off, so that's nice. And they're both sealed with rubber grommets. You can't really see it because my camera won't focus, but oh well. And inside you have changeable heads. You can have the 1.8, the 2.4, or the 2.8. Obviously the 1.8 will give you the better throat hit, and as you move up further up the line you get less of a throat hit. I prefer the 1.8. The battery comes in 2 pieces, and you can get the long one or the short one for the battery, because this is just a switch. This is the battery, and it's got, you know, the battery that comes out of the inside, and you charge it with your wall charger. There's no way to screw it in to charge it. You have to take the battery out to charge it through the wall charger. The switch, you have your button that you hit when you're puffing, and it's really tactile. You definitely know when you've hit it. On the front you have an LED window that tells you what voltage you're using, as well as how many drags you've taken. I'm not really sure why they keep track of your drags. Apparently they thought we need to know how much we smoke. Vape, sorry. Anywho. So, when you hit the button, if you just tap it, the window lights up, and that's your little tracker of how many puffs you've taken, and that is your battery indicator of how much battery life you have left. Love that. Absolutely love that. Now you have 2 little buttons. You have a plus, you have a plus and a minus button. And if you hit the button just once and hold the minus button down, it'll go to the voltage. And you can go from 6 volts down to 3 volts. I normally have it at 4, actually 4.2. I normally keep it at 4.2 for this, to get the throat hit that I like. The further you turn it down, the less throat hit. The further you turn it up, the more it's going to kill you. So really good vape, really good throat hit. Like I said, the metal gives it a different flavor than what I'm used to. I'm not sure if I like that. I did try to put a plastic mouthpiece on, and it doesn't seal correctly at the top like it should. So I get a little bit of leakage when I put the plastic one on there. So I'm thinking just deal with the metal. And it does, it tastes kind of metallic. But the one thing I noticed immediately about the mod is that having it on the higher voltage and not using it at the 3.8 like most typical non-variable voltage batteries use, I get it'll burn the liquid, but then it'll let the burnt liquid go back down into the tank, and it alters the taste of the liquid, and so it gives it kind of a, I don't know, just sort of, it doesn't really taste after a while. So that's the first thing that I don't like about the Nova Mod. The second thing is, and now please know that I have like supersonic hearing, so most people I have to hold it like right against their ear for them to hear it. Me, I can hear it from about this distance. The higher voltage you use, the louder this super high-pitched sound gets that it lets out. And like I said, most people say they can't hear it. I can hear it, so if you have like super sensitive hearing, I wouldn't recommend using this because it's gonna like vibrate inside your skull and it hurts. I did have the switch replaced, so this one isn't as bad as the first one was that I got. Oh my god, the first one was terrible. But this one, I don't really notice it as much. I can tolerate taking a puff off of it, so that's really nice. This little battery, I get about 1.5 days out of it. The longer battery, I get about 3 days out of it, which is odd because with the 2200 Mod that I reviewed, it was the same size battery as the long one for this, but now I was getting 4 days out of it. But that's also probably because I use this on higher voltage. So, one more puff on this one. So it's a good hit. One thing I will tell you about the Nova Mod is this version 1, by the way, version 1. There's a rubber grommet that caps over the wicks to prevent leakage. You have to clip about 1 millimeter off of the end of it, possibly 2. Otherwise it suffocates the wicks and you get hot hits a lot of the time. But other than that, it's a great mod. It's a great battery setup. I'm not really certain on, see it says I've taken 2 drags now. Not really certain what the counter is for, but hey. So yeah, there's not really anything else that I don't like about it. It's kind of reminds me of a Culligan water dispenser. I might be the only one, but that's me. So that is the Nova Mod version 1. Next we have the CE2. Pretty sure it's the 2. Might be the 4. I'm dyslexic. It's the CE something. No, I'm pretty sure it's the CE2. Anyways, it too has the measuring on the side. It goes the measuring stops almost all the way at the top, and it says it holds 2.4 milliliters. The wicks are super short. The wicks in the Nova Mod are long. They go all the way down to the bottom. The wicks in this, you can't even really see them in the video, but they're right there, right at the top, and they're only long enough to touch the sides of the tank. I mean, they're literally like that long on either side. Itty bitty. So you do there is some tipping involved. And you can take about, well, I have my variable voltage. This is the e-cig twist that I reviewed last time. I have this one set on 4.0. So I can take about 5 puffs off of it before I need to tip it for a second, but really only a second. And then I'm good to go. I haven't had any leaking issues, and this too has changeable heads. The mouthpiece is plastic and you screw it off, just like the other one. And you have your heads that you can change, and they're a lot more accessible. The thing I like about this is they're a lot more accessible than on the Nova Mod. I'll show you that on the Nova Mod in a second. And you just unscrew it, take it out, grab your new one, pop it in, and these two come in different strengths, the 1.8, the 2.4, and the 2.8. And again, the 1.8 gives you a really great throat hit, and as you move up you get less of a throat hit, but you still get the same vapor production even at the 2.8. So that is really nice. That's one thing I noticed with the Nova Mod, is that as you move up the line, the vapor production gets less and less and less. Let me just show you what I'm talking about on this one. With this one, you actually, if you want to change the heads while it's still got liquid in it, you have to get tweezers or something because it's sunken down in the top. It's not extended from the top like the CE2 is. But the bottom does screw off, so if you have it empty, you can screw the whole thing apart, pull the bottom out, and switch the heads out and put the new ones in. Otherwise, just grab a pair of tweezers and unscrew it, take it out, put the new one in. This one extends from the top, so it's easily accessible no matter what. And This thing is amazing. Amazing. Wait for it to focus. There it is. Sorry. But this thing is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Plastic mouthpiece. I haven't had any leaking issues whatsoever. That is one thing I want to warn you about with the Nova Mod. The reason I say 1 millimeter, 2 at the most, to be trimmed off the rubber grommet is because if you trim off too much and you let it be upside down for about 5 minutes, it'll start literally dripping quite quickly out of the top. And since, you know, I know a lot of people will just set it down, you know, and let it be standing, I wear my stuff around my neck. So it's flipping around and doing its thing, whatever, all day long. And so that's kind of a hindrance to me. This thing, I can let it sit upside down all night long. I'm not going to have any issues with it. I notice that even though the wicks are super, super short, it still hits really well. And like I said, you get 4 or 5 good hits out of it. You tip it literally for a second and back up, and it's soaked in. You got another 4 or 5 hits. So that to me isn't a huge inconvenience. What else was I gonna say? It's got, you actually don't require a collar for this because it's got a built-in collar. And so it doesn't, if you've got a thin, like the 510 battery, you can use it on this, but it does use the outer threading on the e-cig twist. So, actually, you know what? You can't, no, you can't use a regular 510 battery with this. It has to have the outer threading on it. And I'm sure there are pieces that you can get that, like an adapter piece or something, but this has got a collar all in its own, and it threads on the outer threading of the e-cig twist and the USB pass-through e-cig. If you can't tell, I'm an Ego fan. But with the e-cig twist on this specific mod at 4.0, I get a day and a half out of it. And like I said, I have to fill the tank about, I fill it every day and a quarter. You know, I'll vape on it all day and fill it up the next afternoon, vape on that, fill it up the next evening. So you know, it doesn't burn through liquid really fast, and it's almost to the point where I need to fill it up again, and it's not turning the liquid colors. If you can't see it, but the wicks aren't burnt. So that's really nice. That's one thing that I didn't like about the Megatube, is that it would do the same thing the Nova Mod is doing, is after time it would start letting the burnt liquid get back down into the tank. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the wicks are so long. So I'm thinking that the shorter wicks are actually the best bet, because you know, there's nothing to leak back into the tank. It's just burning it right off right there, and then to re-wet the wick, you tip it and you're good to go. So that is a great improvement. Overall, if I had my preference over the two, which I do, I would have to say that while I do like the Nova Mod, and it's, I mean, it lasts long, it's very durable. Both are made out of the Pyrex plastic stuff, glass stuff, whatever it is, the stuff you can't break. So that's really nice. I would say the only thing this one holds over this one is that it doesn't let the burnt liquid back into the tank. I don't need to modify it in order to get it to hit correctly. And the only reason this leaks is because I had to modify it. So looking at them both in their stock form, I would choose this one over this one. And like I said, while this is still a great setup, I would still choose this one because it doesn't take, a newbie can just grab it, slap it on, and use it. Whereas this one, you need to be more comfortable with modifying your mod in order to get it to work the way you would prefer it to work. It works just fine on its own, but it does need to be clipped in order to keep from getting the hot hits. But yeah, so that is my Mod version 1 versus the CE2. Happy vaping. Any questions, comments, leave them below. And as always, have fun. Happy vaping.